Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Real Reds Talk, an authentic football fan channel meet in Manchester. We're not signing anyone. Everyone else is signing players. Lisandro is going to be out for around, we think, to like 9 to 12 months, potentially. We're fucking shit. And it's not great for a transfer deadline day, I have to be honest. Do you feel the same, Sam?
Yeah, but I'm kind of like, I think I went through an epiphany. It was today where I've kind of just gone, the season's over and I don't really care anymore. So it's just going to get worse until the summer. So let's just accept our fate at this point. We've had more players going out than we've had players coming in. That's about sums it up, really, doesn't it? That's where we are.
And Palace just leapfrogged us in the table, where you got Man City, who are fighting for Champions League around 4th or 5th, and they've spent 150 million, I want to say, around that figure, ballpark somewhere potentially. So
they've just bought Nico Gonzalez from Porto,
as well as Marmouche and that centre back on top of that. So
2 centre backs.
Two centre backs. Lovely stuff, people. Lovely stuff. Look, these are the topics today. Lisandro Martinez, obviously, being the biggest one, the biggest news coming out at the moment. Marcus Rashford has completed his move to Aston Villa. Tell has gone to Tottenham on loan. I definitely wanted to discuss that. Garnacho is going to stay at Manchester United, which is, I suppose, that's one positive we could discuss. And we've just had news coming in that Tyrone Malacia as well is going to PSV on loan because his move broken down to Benfica, didn't it? But we have to start with the Lisandro thing, Sam. We had news coming in that he has torn his cruciate ligament. And if you look at other examples around in football, Van Dijk was out for around 9 months. Zlatan returned within about 7, but he's a freak of nature, as we know. Oxlade-Chamberlain was another one who took over 12 months due to complications. So it's not always guaranteed that it's going to be, let's say, 9 months, but 9 to 12, maybe to 15. That's the period we're looking at the minute. That is devastating considering the form that he was in it.
Yeah, and we saw how much we missed him. Do you remember after that amazing first season, and then he had the injury, and we missed him that entire time, and we just begging for him to come back, and it was just, and he came back, and then he got injured again, and you just like, oh, for fuck's sake. So yeah, arguably on paper, 2 of our best defenders are pretty injury prone in Luke Shaw and Lisandro Martinez. Now I know Lisandro didn't do this repeatedly, obviously. Freak accident, he's running with an attacker and twisted and jarred his knee. Like, it can happen to anyone, and it's unfortunate. And you'd think United, like, all right, we've lost our best central defender, our best left-sided central defender. Let's try and get a recruitment or replacement in. Nope. No sign, no nothing, which is worrying. So, yeah, I feel really bad for Licho. He was clearly upset by it. He was in tears as he was going off the pitch. He knew how bad it was. And you said on complications, Malacia's injury was his meniscus, which is less complicated than a cruciate, and he was out for 18 months because of complications. Like, that's what can happen sometimes. How long? Remember, what was the Arsenal player?
Diaby.
No. The number 10 short guy with the fake Mohican.
Sharvin.
No.
With the fake Mohican.
Spanish.
Santi Cazorla, you're on about?
Yes.
Yeah.
He got his Achilles, didn't he? And he was out for like, nearly 2.5 years, 3 years or something. And then he ended up having to go to like a Spanish club just to play football and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, shit like that can happen. Complications can happen. So it's just, yeah, it sucks, man. It's just it's a turd on the fucking shit sandwich that we're all eating at the minute, isn't it? It's just something unnecessary that we didn't need, but yeah, still happened.
I mean, I was speaking to my mates about United before, and they was kind of coming it from the angle like, we should have gone and got Qatar, we should have done this, and all this kind of stuff. I was trying to explain, like, it doesn't necessarily mean if they had come in, none of this would have happened, and everything would have been rainbows and sunshine. And I explained that this is kind of like the colonoscopy period where we are quite literally clearing all of the shit that's been stuck in the pipes for years, why we've been struggling as a club, and it's all coming out this season. It feels like that's probably the best way to describe it. And once we're clear again, we can kind of go forward and start to digest the good things, I suppose, is the analogy.
Well, I had an argument with somebody on Twitter yesterday. I know what you're thinking. Arguments on Twitter, that is shocking.
Never heard of him.
And he was basically saying, "Oh, why didn't we buy this player?" I was like, "Because we have no money." So we put her in for Tell. I was like, yeah, on a loan with an option to buy.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, oh, so we've got money for the loan. No. We could pay part of his wages. That's why we're getting him on loan. And there's an option to buy in the summer. It's not an obligation, an option. So we wouldn't have had to buy him if we didn't want to. That's the whole point why we got the loan. Yeah, but they're still spending money. I was like, yeah, but the money amount spent on a wage for 6 months is not even comparable to the amount of money you spend on a transfer. That's why we can't go out and buy X person. That's why we can't go buy Jokeres. That's why we can't go buy Quendo. That's why we can't go buy. Can't do any of that in January. That's why we're looking at loans and low cost deals like Dorgu, Aiden, Heaven, etc. That's why we're in the position we're in. And it's like, oh, Ineos have fucked this club up. No. The Glazers have fucked us into this point. Ineos are now trying to work within this broken system and trying to figure out a way out of it and get players in the door within this broken system. This is not on Ineos. This is on the Glazers. There's a lot of shit you could put on Ineos with the ticket pricing and all that sort of stuff. Transfer mess and the money, that's solely on the Glazers. That is not on Ineos.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt that Ratcliffe's inherited an absolute shit show.
Yeah.
Reservicing their debt effectively, paying that off every single year definitely doesn't help. When you've paid nearly £1 billion in whatever you call it, inflation.
Yeah,
I don't
interest.
Interest, that's it, interest payments. So that side of it I get, and that's why I refer it to as a colonoscopy, because you're just getting rid of all the shit. Whether you refer that as players or the financial situation, however you want to look at it. They have inherited a really bad situation here. And also there's a fine line because everyone moans about the Igalo signings and Falcao's, Cavani, whatever. Well, not necessarily Cavani because he was quite good. But those kind of deals people moan about. Anthony's another one. Last minute kind of panics. But I know everyone wants a last minute panic, so you can't really do you want a player just for the sake of it, or do you want to bring someone who the manager actually wants?
People are like, oh, just get somebody, just get anyone in. It's like, no. That's why we're in the shit we are now. Because we've got Frankenstein squad of where we just went and got players and had no thought of how they're going to fit in the team. Are they going to fit going forward? Are they for the future? Are they for now? Are they what is this makeup we just bought? Just randomly. There was no plan. Now there's a plan for the system, for the manager. Has to be the right player. Can't just go out and get someone for the fuck of it. Yeah. And he also can't be overcharged by teams either. Those that you got to stop those days as well. People are like, oh, just pay the money. No, that's what happens when you got Anthony. Do you remember that? We were paid to pay, and then they jacked the price up about 3 times, and we ended up paying 85 million for him. Now he's on loan at Real Betis. Yeah, we can't continue to overpay for players either. So we have to walk away from deals if they're going to overcharge us. That's just the way it is.
Well, that's where Matthias Tell comes into it, because obviously we found out that he is going on loan to Tottenham, straight loan, no option to buy, anything like that. So then that begs the question. We got told, well, what got briefed last night was we're not going for Tell because Bayern are demanding too much. So we haven't seen the figures what Tottenham are paying. I'm sure they'll be released within a couple of days. And if it does turn out that they're paying a heavy loan fee for, whatever it is, 6 months, however long. Well, not even 6 months, is it? They'll go back in June, won't they? I'd imagine. So, just about 5-month loan. And if it is expensive, then you would probably agree with that, wouldn't you, Sam? You'd probably say, that was the right decision, not paying too much on those kind of deals.
If there's a massive loan fee or they're paying 100% of his wages, which I imagine United weren't offering to do. I imagine there was a proportionality of that. So whatever, if we do find out what it was, then I'm sure that there'd be the reason why. At the minute, we don't know. I just have to assume it was financial, because other than that, I don't know why it wouldn't happen other than financially.
Let's go to the comments, because I think some people are pissed off. Random guys saying my club is a joke. James McGregor saying our club is a joke. Random. I can kind of see why we haven't done much this window at all. Not justifying it whatsoever. It's been years and years of bad financial choices by Joel. And that's it. Charlie saying good evening. Looks like Molasses on his way out. Also, is this why Amas was not loaned out? To be honest, I think Amas was not loaned out more to the point of the right club didn't come in for him to send him out on loan. Just in my opinion, I think that's why he's not gone.
We had there was a youth player we brought back, didn't we? Because he wasn't playing. I can't remember who it was. So I think they're a bit sort of wary of sending someone out and then not getting minutes.
Yeah. Random saying Qatar would have cleared the debt instantly, but I don't think the Glazers would have ever sold the whole club. They'll never let go of their cash cow. The thing is, though, this is if buts and coconuts, with all due respect, because Qatar didn't even offer as much as Sir Jim did. When they were saying he was going to blow these competitors out the water and offer all this money and provide and they literally I was at 1.1 billion off what Ratcliffe was offering, basically.
They also, when it came down to it and they asked for proof of funds and paperwork, they couldn't put it up. They couldn't prove they had the money. Now, whether they had the money or not, we don't know. But when it came time to prove they had the money in the account or the money to pay for the deal, they couldn't prove it. They didn't provide the paperwork. They didn't prove it. There was no sort of evidence that that money existed. Ratcliffe did it. They were both there at the same time. Qatar could have bought the club if they wanted it.
Yeah.
And they didn't, because they didn't prove they had the money. They wouldn't bid as much as Sir Jim Ratcliffe for the proportion that he had. That's it. So if they wanted it that badly, they would have had to A, overpay or prove they had the money. And they did neither. So the people who said, oh, we should have got Qatar, they had the opportunity to buy the club and they didn't. Like, let it go, man. Let it go.
Andy's saying from the start of the window, the reports for United is looking at replacements if Anthony Rashford leaves, and now fans are justifying this disgrace. We're not justifying it. They're looking at specific replacements to bring in. Those specific replacements, if you really want a player, Andy, for example, and you're like, right, Tell really fits the system. We can see him working with the players that we've got. The integration should be easier. He's looking for minutes. This is a perfect loan to do. And then Bayern turn around and go, well, we want £10 million. Are you still going to pay it? No. So therefore, so what do? Do you just go get any fucking Tom, Dick and Harry that's on? Yeah, let's just go get, I don't know, fucking a 35-year-old Jamie Vardy. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't, that's just random sporadic buying again. So if the targets aren't available, that's what you do, isn't it?
For a price that you can afford, which for the most part, we can't afford most players. Like, if you want a top target, like Harry Kane, Gyökeres or something like that, you're going to have to pay north of 70, 80, 90, 100 million, whatever it is, for a top-class striker. We don't have that. We don't have that. So to go get that player is not available to us. The next bracket down, 40, 50, don't have that either. Like, we don't have that. So we're then in the third down bracket. So those type of players, you're looking at young players like Patrick Dorgu, Aiden Heaven. They're not ready. So there's no point in bringing in a young up-and-coming striker to compete with Rasmus Højlund, who's a young up-and-coming striker. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Does it? Every journalist we've spoken to, very, very good journalists as well, by the way, every single one of them said United are skin.
Yes.
They
are on the PSR line by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah.
Like, one slight misdirection and we're going to be hit with a points deduction. Do you remember Everton? Do you remember Nottingham Forest? That will happen to United, and we're on a precarious position as it is towards relegation. I don't think we'll get relegated, but if we say got hit with a 6-point reduction, I mean, we may well could be. So you've got to be fucking careful.
Yeah. No strike sign, shocking. That's from Neil. Also, if you lie on the takeover papers, 5 years into the slammer you go. So that's how serious of a paper it is. And it's saying Ineos will lose their attraction if you go in window showing zero ambition. I haven't read the takeover, to be honest. Yeah, it's very complicated. It's very specific. But I understand the frustrations. Look, we're in a very, very shit position. 13th, to be more specific, I think, in the league. 14th, it might be, actually. We're close to Tottenham. We're close to the likes of Everton. It has been a dreadful season. And when we all thought it can't get any worse, it's gotten worse. And the players have gotten worse. So we understand fans are rightfully frustrated and they want players in. I want players in. I'm sure Sam wants players in. I'd be happy to bring, someone in. Tell I was really excited about. I was looking forward to, because our attack. I mean, we put something on Twitter before. If you look at the players that have scored more goals than our strikers, it's fucking shocking, absolutely shocking. So I would have liked him, but they've made it. It's the right decision, depending on the financials. If the financials were ridiculous and that gets reported, then I would be like, that's justifiable. If it comes out and it was doable, that's when I'll be fuming.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, if it was if they not paying anything up front and they're paying a little bit of his wage and it was just a case of United couldn't be asked, then yeah, be furious at it. But we don't know at this point. And I think as well, to look at how many times have we been there in like a summer window and panicked and bought the wrong players. Casemiro, great for a season, but he was on 350k a week and now doesn't play. Like, Anthony's another one. Like, there's been so many players we've bought and it's just not worked. Do you want to keep doing that and keep repeating that? Because the results haven't been great when we have done that. So we need to reset, and you're just going to have to suffer. Like Ruben Amorim says, you're going to have to suffer for a bit while we get through this, and it's just going to be shit. And everything around us is shit. Even Spurs, who are shitting on us, have gone out and bought 3 players, I believe.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going to suck. it's going to suck really, really badly this year, and you're just going to have to buckle in and sort of deal with it.
Agreed. Yeah, just the last thing on Lisandro, because we did start with that, so I do want to kind of finish on it. We do have and again, this is Luke Shaw, so it is one of them. He is back, so if anyone, if he can stay fit in a perfect world, he can perfectly step into that role, right?
Yeah.
Like let's say if we're in a hypothetical world and he was fit and ready to go, he might have already been starting in that position or be heavily rotating with Lisandro. So that's the only one that you can look at and you go, he can come in now. But it's asking a lot in it, Sam, like putting your trust and faith in him.
Yeah, maybe Mazraoui could play there. Like he's good at the right centre back, isn't he? So maybe he could fit a job there. So maybe that's the answer. You got Harry Maguire, De Ligt, Yoro, and Mazraoui. So we're not as hard up for centre backs as we think we are, but obviously Leacher is that one left-footed centre back that we have, which obviously opens up angles of play and stuff like that. And Luke Shaw is the other one, but whether he'll be fit and available is another matter.
Yeah. Elite Balls in Amarin is the one who dropped both Rashford and Xerxes after they both scored braces versus Everton. I can't. If you think Rashford and Xerxes was the answer, we should have kept him. I don't know what to tell you, Elite Ball. That's just
all right.
Yeah.
Why have Rashford and Xerxes not scored a goal for 12 games then? Tell me if they're the answer. Why is Højlund not scored a goal for 11 games? Is he the answer? Like, it's just the strikers aren't doing it, mate. They aren't doing it. They're not good enough. So until we get a striker that's good enough, we ain't going to score goals.
Yeah. Right, so we move the conversation on then to Malacia to PSV, because that's news that's breaking recently as well. We had Fabrizio Romano saying PSV are closing on a loan deal for Tyrell Malacia. The agreement is at the final stages. His medical is booked. So we know his move with PSV broke down. Not with PSV, sorry. His move with Benfica, apologies, had broke down, which is kind of like, he clearly doesn't suit the system. He clearly looks way off it since he's come back from his injury, which I'm praying doesn't happen with Lisandro as well, because my God, his body's being broken down. Good move, going back to, a league that he's familiar with, Sam.
Yeah. No, I think he's clearly not up to it, is he? Like what we've seen from him so far, he's not up to it. And I think that injury is obviously giving him problems getting back to where he needs to be, and he's not going to get the minutes at United to do that, to get back to where he needs to be. So he needs to go on loan, go play football somewhere in a less demanding league, get minutes into his legs, get back up to form and shape. And if he does well, awesome. Summertime, we can sell him, get some money, and we can move on. If he doesn't do well, then that we have to deal with that when it comes to it. But I hope he gets back to playing football. I hope he plays well and he can move on and have a good career. But I don't think it's going to be at United.
Yeah. Elite saying random guy. So the manager should manage him and resolve the situation, or freeze him out like he chose to. Can't have it both ways. If they're fit, why not? It's not like we have better players to play their roles. News: Martinez has done ACL. Yeah, we mentioned that. Yeah, so it's a long road back for him, and it's unfortunate because he's had loads of big ones now. He's had the metatarsal that he'd done, and then he had a setback coming back from that. He did his knee when Kufal landed on him, and then it's happened again. So one has to think as well how many times you can have those kind of injuries and come back the same player. It's devastating because, like we said, the news that he was in was the form that he was in, was really, really good. But just laughing on Malacia, sorry, I'm going all over the place here because comments are sending me left, right, and centre. I'm happy with that. It's fine. It's not as if he was playing any minutes anyway. Dorgu looks phenomenal. He's a lot more of a fit than Malacia is. I'm interested to see how he gets on. Do you think he'll make his debut on Friday?
Maybe we see him on the bench. It'd be interesting because Leicester's obviously the one team we've been able to beat consistently this season. So maybe he gets a start. Maybe I'd like to see it, but yeah. He's been playing regularly for Lecce, hasn't he? Like it's not like he's been. So I would like to see it, but maybe on the bench.
Yeah, I don't think he'll start. I think he'll get 20 minutes just to give you, especially at Old Trafford as well, home debut, Leicester in the cup. It would make sense to me. That's so really, really excited to see him. In terms of any more outgoings, you'll be glad to know Garnacho is not leaving. He will stay at the club now, which is weird, wasn't it, Sam? Because all the noise around him, like a couple of weeks ago, it looked certain he was going to either Napoli or Chelsea, didn't it?
United stuck to the guns. They're like, if you want to get him, you're gonna have to pay what we want, and nobody offered the money that we wanted, so he didn't go. It's that simple. Like, if you want one of our best talents, our best young talents from the academy, pay the money and you get him. But Napoli didn't offer enough. Did Chelsea ever actually come in with a bid? Because there was loads of talk.
No.
They were coming in bid. It was soon. Is it imminent? And it never came in. So I don't know if that was all talk or whatever. But yeah, Napoli didn't pay enough, so they didn't get the player.
Yeah,
it's that simple when it comes down to it.
And let's be clear, if we was to sell him now as well, oh my god.
Oh yeah, you can't sell him on deadline day. Like that's just ridiculous. Like if he was going to go, he needed to go like a week ago, so we had time to get a replacement in.
I think that's when fans would actually riot. I think if you let Garnacho go now and didn't replace him, and you're leaving us with what, Højlund, Xerxes, Ahmad, Bruno, you can class as one of that. But I mean, like specific forwards, you've got 3, haven't you? Basically,
yeah.
No Rashford, no Antony, no Garnacho if he was to go. I think fans really would be livid there. So they understood there's no way you can do that. And now it's going to be an absolute scrap until the end of the season. We've had Marcus, who's joined Aston Villa, like we touched on. That's completely done now. We had Ornstein reporting before that Unai Emery believes he's going to be he believes that he is one of the most world's dangerous attacking players who can help return to his best form. It's going to sting a little bit more in it if he starts killing it at Villa. I know we'll get a good price if he does do that, so it'd be good financially. But if he goes there now, Sam, and starts scoring loads of goals, you can see the narratives that are going to come out, can't you?
Yeah, like it could happen. Like it could happen, and he has like a small sort of remontada at the beginning where he has 3 or 4 games. He looks great. I do think his colours will eventually show, and he'll stop performing at some point. Like everybody was raving about Sancho at Chelsea because he had like 3 basic assists in it.
Yeah.
And then since then he's been okay. He's not been amazing, but he's been all right. And I think Rashford will probably go the same way. And then eventually his attitude and things like that will raise their head. So yeah, for him personally, I hope it goes well for him and I hope we get some money out of it and he can move on with his career. But yeah, I don't have much faith that he's going to do fantastically well for Villa, but I hope I'm wrong. I hope I get proved wrong.
Yeah. We shall leave it at that's a short one tonight because I'm mad busy. There's loads of stuff going on. Obviously, it is deadline day, so I think we should be back tonight just to cover all the main stories and main topics from 10 to 11 o'clock, right? Tonight?
Yeah, 11 o'clock.
So not long to go. We know United are not going to do any business now whatsoever. It would be Odin Wingy levels if they went and signed someone now. It'd be crazy. So this is a squad that we've got. Patrick Dorgu in, Rashford, Antony, Malacio out, basically. And Lisandro out. Oh, yeah, Aiden Heaven as well.
Aiden as well, yeah.
Yeah. So let's see his development and stuff. But, obviously, if anything breaks from now when we go live around 10 o'clock, then please do check out our Instagram. All the stories will be on Twitter and Instagram. So, yeah, head over to there and you'll have the up-to-dates literally by the minute. So, yeah, appreciate every single one of you. Apologies, it's a short one tonight, guys. But we'll see you later on, yeah?